Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to discuss a lot of important things and events that are going to happen next week. For example, NVIDIA, one of the greatest AI stocks companies, that is going to report this week. Also, one of the largest consumer companies like Walmart is going to report this week. Also, we have FOMC minutes, and I'm going to discuss in detail the implications of all this and my outlook in the future. So without further ado, let's jump on right into the analysis, starting from the earnings, then to the economic outlook, and then the technicals. And then I will discuss some important levels which are going to be crucially important for the next week for the traders. So let's get started and let's jump right into the analysis. So starting with the macroeconomic analysis, I wanted to start with the NVIDIA earnings. Now, why am I bringing this up? This is because NVIDIA till now, or the AI sector in general till now, has single-handedly kept the Nasdaq markets afloat and has single-handedly, tried to fuel the Nasdaq rally, and which we have observed and we have enjoyed so far. But this is going to be the make or break moment, because NVIDIA, one of the largest, AI chip manufacturer, it is going to report this week. And specifically, it is going to report on Wednesday evening, that is Wednesday after market hours. We also have no doubts about NVIDIA's performance in terms of fundamentals. So what do I mean by this? Right now, the fundamentals are already priced in the actual market price. We have no doubt that NVIDIA is going to beat the expectations in terms of revenue, that is top line, and net income, that is bottom line. So they are going to knock the ball out of the court in terms of top line and bottom line. The real $1,000,000 question is, can they sustain this higher growth and higher multiples, given that they have supply chain constraints as well? Because one key thing or one key factor to note down is NVIDIA doesn't do the manufacturing of its own chips. It designs it, and then the TSMC that manufactures it. So there is a bottleneck as to how many chips can they manufacture and sell. Now there is some encouraging data from China, and there is some loosening of sanctions that they can throttle down the chips and then they can sell to the China. So that is a good news. But we will have to see and wait for the reactions and for the Q&A from the earnings call to see how they address the supply chain issues and how they plan to grow exponentially in terms of top line and bottom line. So I'm 100% sure that they are going to beat the estimates, but how the market reacts to it, that is completely different ball game. So wait until Wednesday evening to see how the price reacts to the earnings, how the price reacts to the comments from the CEO Jensen Huang, and that is when we will be able to actually recognize, okay, is NVIDIA strong enough to single-handedly pull the markets forward, or it is a make or break, or it is a time for a pullback or collection. So I'm going to discuss that in detail in the VWAP analysis section as well for the overall markets, but know that this is going to be the pivotal week for Nasdaq markets. Coming on to the other economic factors, like there is an alarming signs from Japan and UK because they have officially entered into the recession. Now, when I say recession, what I mean over here is they have consecutive back-to-back 2 quarters of negative GDP decline. So that's what I mean as recession. So the signs from these two advanced economies, developed economies like UK and Japan, they are going into recession. So obviously there will be repercussions in the US as well. So there is a global slowdown, and if US pulls this off single-handedly, then this would be first time ever in the history that US won't be affected by the economic slowdown of the entire world. So we are already seeing the cracks in the economy, but we'll have to wait and watch until the GDP numbers are out, or until the Fed can engineer the soft landing. So that's from the macroeconomic side. Now the inflation data continues to be hotter than expected. Both the CPI and PPI ratings, or the data, is coming hotter than expected. So that is giving Fed the liberty to keep the rates higher for longer, which is not a good sign for stocks. So that is something that you need to be, aware of, and you need to be taking a mindful decision of, because we have not seen a meaningful correction since a lot of months, at least since October of last year. So any pullback which is 8 to 10% or 10 to 15% correction is highly likely. It's not the question of if, but it's the question of when. So that is my take on the Fed and the interest rate side. Now, more importantly, tomorrow, in pre-market hours, Walmart, one of the biggest consumer sensitive and consumer company, that is going to report. So the earnings and the Walmart, revenue, or the Walmart bottom line is going to tell a lot about the health of the US consumer. So if Walmart business continues to thrive, then that is a very good indication that consumers are still spending a lot. So that is something that fundamentals people who are fundamental analysts, they will be very keen in observing these kind of earnings, because US economy is 70% consumer spending driven. So these kind of important data gives you a lot of edge in knowing what is actually happening in the economy. So that's it from my side from the macroeconomic analysis front. And to just summarize it, keep a close eye on the FOMC minutes as well, because the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is set to give the remarks on the FOMC meeting, that is Federal Open Market Committee meetings. So that is going to be an important event. I believe that is this is on Thursday. So keep a close eye on that as well. And then Friday is very silent. So you can expect a range bound day. So this is a gist of what's coming in next week and how things are related. So this is how things are related. So now let us jump on to the technical analysis, starting from the weekly time frame. In the weekly time frame, I wanted to emphasize on some important levels which I would like to show you on the charts. So when we talk about the key support levels, let me show you the key support levels first. So this is the weekly charts. And as you can see, we have started the Tuesday's trading session right from the Monday's 6 o'clock EST. So this is the weekly chart, as you can see over here, and I have drawn a strong support zone over here. So this is going to be a very strong support zone, which is the ultimate support zone. And on the immediate term, or on the immediate basis, this is going to be the support for the immediate basis. Now, why do I say this? It's because this level coincides with two important things. One is the anchored VWAP starting from the year. So starting from 2024, that is over here, you can see January 2, 2024, and it is ending till here. So the anchored VWAP, that is this white line, and this cyan line, that is 9-day EMA, both of them coincides over here. So the immediate level of support, if the 5-day EMA gets broken, then this is going to be the immediate support, and this green zone is going to be the ultimate area of support on the weekly time frame. And now let us talk about the resistance. So the resistance sits at over here. So first resistance is going to be over here, that is the top of the range. So this is the first area of resistance, but the stronger area of resistance is going to be the top of the Bollinger Band and the Fibonacci ratio of 1.272. So that this area is going to be the ultimate area of resistance, and this is going to be the nearest area of resistance, and this also coincides with the top of the range. So looking at the weekly charts, we have got the first red candle since last 6 to 7 weeks. So it is very natural and normal to pull back at least 5 to 8% to have a good pullback or in the correction territory. So pullback is normally equal to 5 or less than 5%, and correction is normally 8 to 10%. So I believe that if the markets lose this support of 5-day, then there are very high chances to touch this zone first. So that's it from the weekly charts from my side. Now let us analyze the daily charts. In the daily charts, I wanted to discuss three things. One is support levels, second is resistance levels, and the third is the top of the range that we have been seeing since last 3 to 4 days. So let me show you all of this in the charts. So this is the daily charts, and in the daily charts you can see that I have drawn this top of the range bar, or top of the range zone to be precise. Now the reason why I have drawn this top of the range zone is because if if NVIDIA comes with great earnings and if the markets tend to go higher, then the first or the initial most important level of resistance is going to be this top of the range. So we need to keep a close eye, because this top of the range is the high of this all-time high and the closing of both of these bars, which is sitting near the all-time highs. So this is how I have derived this range. Now this is going to be the immediate immediate term resistance, if I can say that, and the ultimate level of resistance is going to be the top of the Bollinger Band, that is this one. Now this Bollinger Band may seem different in your in your charting software, because I have used the third standard deviation as the standard deviation settings under the Bollinger Bands. So in my chart, the ultimate area of resistance is going to be 18,250. And coming on to the support, as you can see right now, that in the pre-market session we have already devastated or lost the median line of the Bollinger Band, that is this yellow line, as you can see over here. So median line of the Bollinger Band, if we have lost it in the pre-market, then the immediate support level is going to be this 26-day moving average. So this is an immediate level of support. Let's say we start losing this 26-day EMA, which is sitting at 17,550 level, then the ultimate area or the ultimate zone of support is going to be 50-day moving average, that is represented as a cream or yellow, a dark yellow line over here, and that also coincides with the lower end of the Bollinger Bands. So the ultimate area of support is going to be this 50-day moving average, and the immediate area of support is going to be the 26-day moving average on the daily time frame. Now if you see the formation or the price action structure of the market, looking at the candles and looking at the formations, it seems like there is a bearish structure forming. And let me tell you why. Because we made a higher high over here, then we made a low, then we were not able to breach the previous high. So this can be recognized as a sign of trend reversal. So since we are making lower highs over here, it is very important for us to make or cross this previous high in order for the markets to go higher. But that I don't know what is going to be the proponent of that, either NVIDIA earnings or FOMC minutes, whatever the fundamental catalyst be. We as traders needs to know that these are the important levels, and a new trend is being forming over here, which is the downtrend, signifying the first lower high and lower high over here. So as you can see over here, we have closed a heavy downside candle over here, and also a heavy downside candle over here. Now if we get consecutive back-to-back red days, and if we close below this 26-day EMA, then it is going to be this 50-day EMA that is going to be the final area of support for the Nasdaq index. So now let me quantify the term pullback and correction. So this is the all-time high. If we have even if we have a 5% correction, then that is going to be sitting over here, that is 17,200. Now 17,200 exactly corresponds to the previous low over here. So this is going to be a very good area of interest, or a very good area of support. So if I draw this zone would look something like this. Why? Because this was previously held as support over here as well. So price may stall for at least a day or two over here before it continues its leg downwards. So if there is a heavy chance of downfall, then this would be a very good zone to keep an eye on. So this is my take and my support and resistance level on the daily analysis. I strongly recommend you to jot down these levels and make a note of these levels so that you can be informed while doing your investing and trading. So, but for all the investor friends out there, it seems like very soon we are going to get a good opportunity to buy some really good stocks. So let's see how the market plays out. But so far, this is my take on the daily time frame. I want to share something really special, and I have been studying and researching about the anchored VWAP indicator, and I have been backtesting since a lot of weeks. And now I want to show you my perspective on markets using this anchored VWAP indicator. Basically, the golden thing that it tells you is it tells you the how the sentiment is and who exactly is in control. So are the buyers dominant right now or the sellers dominant right now for that given particular time frame? You can find it out by using the anchored VWAP indicator. So let me tell you like who's in control right now on the daily basis, and then I will also show you why I choose different mounting points for the anchored VWAP so that we can get a good perspective of how the fundamentals are shifting and how the big positioning is shifting. So let me jump onto the charts and show you what I mean over here. This is my trading view, and these are my VWAP charts. So all the lines that you see over here are VWAP. Now, the reason why I mount each VWAP from a specific point is because if you see over here, this pink line is the anchored VWAP that is mounted on the October lows of last year. Now, I also have one VWAP that is mounted from the start of this year, that is year to date. And then I have another VWAP that is mounted mostly from the month to date, but since this was a very huge gap down, I mounted it from this point, which is the most recent low. And this blue line, that is the anchored VWAP, which is mounted from this date, that is 12th February, is mounted from here because this is the most recent high. So these are the points from where I mount my anchored VWAP. That is the most recent high, that is this one, the most recent low, that is this one, then this one is the year to date, and then this is the absolute low from last 2 to 5 months, that is this one. So now let me tell you the significance of it and why do I say that this is important in knowing that who is in control, buyers or sellers. So over here you can see, if we consider the time frame from the most recent high, this the blue line is above the price right now, which signifies that the sellers are in control. As you can see over here as well, same is the story for this green line. This green line is the month to date anchored VWAP, which is starting from 31st because we have taken over here the most recent low. So over here, the price is below the month to date anchored VWAP as well. So this means that the sellers are in control. So now we have two situations where the sellers are in control. So over here, this is the year to date anchored VWAP, and in the year to date anchored VWAP, this is the price is above that anchored VWAP, and it is low. That price is marginally lower than the month to date anchored VWAP. So there is a lot of room for the downside. If the markets cannot hold above this green line on the closing basis, that is on the daily close, if we cannot close above this green line, then expect a really good downfall till here. So what is this level? This level is 17,340. So this is the main support, I would say. And then if this support gets broken, then the ultimate area of support is going to be this one. Why? Because this is the anchored VWAP, which is mounted from the most recent October lows since last 2 to 5 months. So if you talk about pullback, and normally what happens is, if there is a pullback or if there is a correction, normally it is 8 to 10%. So if you see the distance from the all-time high to this anchored VWAP, that is year to date anchored VWAP, is almost 4.3%. And if we consider the distance from the all-time high to this anchored VWAP, then it is almost 8.9 or 9%. So if you ask me, the ideal buying point would be this one, which is these pink anchored VWAP. And this also corresponds to the correction territory. That is 8 to 10%. So whenever the market is down by 8 to 10%, it is called as a correction phase, and it is very, very, advisable or recommended to buy at correction levels rather than buying at the all-time high levels. You want to buy good things at a cheaper price than good things at a ridiculously valuated price. So I would suggest, this would be a really good buying opportunity if and when the markets decides to have a 8 to 10% correction. But make a note of these lines and these levels, because these are really important anchored points, and this indicator is very, very, good in terms of having a real good support and resistance. So these two will act as a really nice support, and these two will now act as really nice resistance. So if the market, if you are if your thesis is bullish, then you better hope that you get a closing candle above these two lines in order for the markets to go higher. So this is my take on the VWAP strategy, and these are the mount points of my anchored VWAP. So this is how I use VWAP to know who is in control. Right now, under the short term, to summarize finally, sellers are in control right now. If that changes, then I will know from the charts that if I get consecutive closes above this green line, then the bullish rally continues. But if we fail to do so, then I would expect the price to at least touch this red line first before going to the pink line. So that's my take on the VWAP strategy and the VWAP indicator. And now let me summarize the entire video. In the summary, I want to say two things. One thing is there is going to be a lot of chop between 17,000 and 18,000 zone. So that is going to be the battleground for the next few months in the markets. And I wanted to show you some of the VWAP charts that recently turned bearish as of the time of this recording, and that is today. So as you can see over here, this is my daily chart on the VWAP strategy. So all these lines that you can see is the middle line is the VWAP line, and then the other lines are the 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations of the VWAP itself. So as you can see, we have got a close on the Friday below the anchored VWAP, that is below the monthly anchored VWAP. And then since then, today in the pre-market session, we are still down from the anchored VWAP. And we have tried to defend this anchored VWAP since last week 2-3 times, that is over here, but we were not able to defend it on Friday. So at the start of this week, the monthly in the monthly charts, the sentiment is bearish. And clearly the sellers are in control right now. Over here in the same observation is true for the weekly charts as well, or for the hourly charts as well. So you can see over here, I'm in the 60-minute time frame, and right now it is pre-market for the Tuesday pre-market session. We are still down from the VWAP. So as you can see, when the price is down, then the VWAP turns red. And if the price is above the VWAP, that is over here, then the price or the VWAP turns green. So as you can see right now, there's no questions asked, there's no confusion that the sellers are in control. So if this is going to be the last 2 days for the bulls to defend the important support levels, because if they don't, then the sellers are already in control and they will bring the prices down. This is a chop zone between 17,000 to 18,000 levels, and the VWAP charts have turned bearish. So that's the summary of this entire video, and I hope that you are liking the content and you're finding good value, and I presume that you're learning a lot and you're trying by yourself. So I would like to thank you, and I would like to tell you that please like, share, and subscribe so that YouTube algorithms recognizes the importance of this video and it promotes more. So it gives us the motivation to do what we do over here. So yeah, please keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. And my whole motto in this channel is to give you genuine, unbiased information so that you can take good financial decisions. So as I always say, keep learning, keep growing, and keep trading. And I'll catch you guys later in the next video.